So excited to be with you today. This is my first live broadcast of January. So this is pretty exciting for me. And if we don't know each other already, my name is Heather Tucker. I am the Christian sex coach on the internet. And if you would like to find out some more information about me, go ahead and check me out on my website. You'll see it below, sexcoachheather.com. You can get some information on hiring me as your sex coach. And if you're looking for a speaker for your upcoming marriage retreat, singles retreat, or just a small little gathering where we could go over my very popular book, by the way, Why Doesn't My Husband Want Me? I wrote this about my 12-year sexless marriage. So if you need somebody to come in to talk to your people about how to avoid sexless marriages or how to overcome them, how to reconnect, how to add the spark back in their sex life, I would love to do that. So check it out below. All right. So today we're going to be covering 3 faith-based marriage and intimacy tips. So I do have 3 tips that I'm going to be sharing with you today. So I hope that you are super, super pumped to learn about those. I am on a brand new streaming thing. I literally have no idea what I'm doing, you guys, but I did feel a message in my heart, and I'm like, I'm just going to go live, even though I don't understand the streaming thing. So please bear with me, and I hope that you can give me some grace. And I'll just thank you right now for giving me that grace. All right. So the first tip that I have for you guys today is the importance of communication. Now, communication, especially in the faith-based community, we are encouraged to have these open and honest communications between our partners. And the reason behind this is because we're encouraged to follow the guidance of Ephesians chapter 4, verse 15, that God talks about instead speak the truth in love. We will grow to become in every respect the mature body of him who is the head, that is the Christ. So yeah, like it is so important to communicate and be open, I mean, God, there was a time when I was so scared to communicate with my husband because I was scared that he wasn't going to like what I was going to say or understand me as like a woman, or he was going to judge me, because sometimes he did. Like the looks that he would give, I was like, oh, he doesn't like when I say that. So maybe I shouldn't talk about that because it makes him feel uncomfortable. But then because of that, I started to push down my words. So I became more quiet, more reserved, went into myself. I didn't share as much, which when that starts to happen in a marriage, I mean, you're seriously going to have a disconnect. Like you're going to feel it. You're going to feel there's going to be this invisible wall. It's going to feel very like, I can't even describe it. It's like this fuzzy invisible wall that you could just feel yourself bumping up against. And it all starts because as couples, we just become super, super uncomfortable with sharing our feelings and our desires in the bedroom and what we would like to see improvement on. And again, this comes because we don't really want to hurt each other's feelings. So we start to hide our feelings. And then if we're uncomfortable with our feelings with our spouse, then you might be talking to your girlfriend more about how you really feel, or your mom, or whoever you feel more comfortable with, because they are giving you that space to be open, right, about your feelings. So it's very, very, very important. Like I always say, you can't over communicate. You can't. You just have to find the right time to have these conversations. Sometimes they're hard, sometimes they're challenging, sometimes they're uncomfortable. But if you don't have them, your marriage is going to become uncomfortable. And before you know it, you guys you're not going to be talking at all, like literally at all. So you don't want that to happen, because as soon as you stop talking in your marriage, you're going to quickly find that your marriage is going to take a nosedive. You don't want that to happen, because when you stop talking and then you feel that invisible disconnect wall, the last thing that you want is for them to touch you. I mean, you're not going to want to have sex if you don't feel emotionally connected to your spouse, right? So you have to be having these conversations and having them frequently, like as often as you can. And even if you have like one conversation, let's say you have a conversation about how often you guys want to have sex, right? And then 2 and 3 months go down the line and you're like, gosh, okay, what used to work one time a week having sex, now I'm like, wow, I really feel like I need 2 or 3 times. So, having these conversations as often as you can in a marriage is seriously going to keep you guys connected emotionally, so that the sex doesn't get taken off the table. That's like, trust me, you don't want that to happen, because that's going to lead to sexlessness. And in the faith-based, whether you're, Jewish or Christian or whatever religion that you relate to, and you honor your faith and you pray and all that, you're going to really quickly find that if you're not getting what you need at home, you're going to be tempted to get it elsewhere. You don't want that. Okay. So sit down with your spouse, have these uncomfortable conversations, have them often every couple of months. We do change as people, right? We grow, our interests might change, we change as people, we become sometimes more open, more free spirited, we want more adventure, we want to spice it up, we get bored, things like that. So, what you did enjoy or did not enjoy 3 months ago, a year ago, it could be different now. So, like I said, you can't over talk. Like, you have to talk as much as you can in your marriage, especially if you guys want to have a long lasting marriage. All right. And again, you got to remember, our enemy, Satan, is roaming about looking for who he can devour, right? That's why there's so many faith-based marriages that end up in divorce, because we're giving into temptation because it feels easier than having a conversation. Well, I'm telling you right now, if you want to stay married and you don't want to break up your family, and you don't want cheating and porn and whatever invited into your house or into your life, like, have an uncomfortable conversation. I swear you're going to be so happy that you did. Okay. So that's the first tip. All right. The second tip that I have for you is to prioritize intimacy. Okay. It is so vital for a sustaining marriage to practice intimacy. So, practicing means you're putting in action. You're not letting too much time in between sexcapades, where you're coming together. You are scheduling it if you need to, even though it's not like a sexy thing to schedule. But I mean, at least you're getting it in, and at least you're feeling connected intimately. Okay. It's so, so, so important. Um, don't say no to each other. Do not say no. Please, God, help these people to not say no to each other. I don't care if you're tired, okay? Unless you're puking your brains out, or you're using the bathroom and you have to keep running to the bathroom, coming out the other end, you know what I mean? Like, don't say no to each other, okay? Because you made a commitment to your husband, you made a commitment to your wife to be that person for them that God has called them to be. That means that you're serving them, even if they don't serve you back. You're giving your love without expecting anything in return. You're loving on them. Again, not expecting anything in return. But when you give with this type of spirit, without expectation, you're going to find that your partner is going to want to give back to you and to love on you and to approach you for sex. So even if like you approach your spouse for sex and let's say that they say no, even though that might hurt you initially and you might feel that rejection or that abandonment type of feeling that might remind you of like a different relationship that you were in, whether it was something that happened to you as a child or a different marriage or a boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, like don't let that uncomfortability or hurt feeling keep you from approaching them again for sex. Because even though they might not say like I'm tired or whatever their reason is for saying no, it doesn't mean that they don't want you to approach them again. It just might mean that they, in that moment, didn't share their actual feelings of what was happening. And it more than likely has nothing to do with you at all. Like they might still love you and and want you to still approach them for sex. It's just that the timing wasn't great for them, but they didn't have it within them to share that. They haven't learned through maybe counseling the importance of not saying no, or if you do feel like saying no, the importance of sharing the why behind it so that your husband or wife isn't taking that personal and then they don't feel pushed away and like pushed into the arms of somebody else, which is going to happen. Okay. So remember in First Corinthians chapter 7, it's talked about how the husband should fulfill his marital duty, marital duty. That's talking about sex. Okay. The husband should fulfill his marital duty to his wife, and likewise the wife to her husband. So, again, wives, don't be saying no to your husbands. Okay. Don't be saying no. Don't use sex as a weapon. Like so many conversations that I have with clients, or if I go on to, I don't know, a clubhouse room or something where people are having a lot of conversations about marriage and intimacy and sex and all that. Like the main thing that I hear from men in those conversations is how tired that they are of their wives saying no over and over. And now they're feeling rejected. Okay. God, please just don't say no to each other. Again, Satan is like waiting for those opportunities to tempt you or your husband for someone else that might not say no. So, like, do you want to push your spouse into the arms of somebody else? Or do you want to have a really, really strong, long lasting marriage with tons of intimacy and tons of sex, and you be that couple that you can maybe help like other couples, because they're seeing you guys be so close and hold hands all the time, and they can tell that you guys have a lot of intimacy going on behind closed doors because you're, having PDA all over the place. You're kissing each other in public and all of that, right? So just make sure that if you really, really want to be close to each other, you want to feel emotionally connected, you want to feel spiritually connected, you want to feel physically connected, do not say no. Okay. And remember, God says that you, as a wife, you don't have authority over your own body. You yield it, give it to your husband. In the same way, husband, you don't have authority over your own body. You got to yield it and give it to your wife. Okay. When you're married, that's one of the commitments that you're making to each other is you don't have ownership over your own body anymore. Okay. You're giving that through your heart of love to your spouse. So this does go into the area of intimacy and protecting each other in this way so that you are not the one responsible for causing your spouse to feel rejected or to bring up those abandonment type of feelings that can come up. I mean, I felt it before. So, and I've said no, and Chuck said no, during those 12 years of not having sex. Like, it was both of us, so it wasn't just like one person saying no. But I will tell you that, yeah, like, we both felt rejected, and it doesn't, you guys, it doesn't feel good. It does not feel good to feel rejected by your own spouse. I mean, would you feel good if somebody said no to you over and over and over again? You're like, what the hell is wrong with me? Am I not worthy of like their sex? I mean, do they not find me attractive anymore? Am I not sexy? I mean, all of these thoughts start to come up when we hear a no from somebody. So why would you, as the other person, want to cause that to somebody else? I mean, this is where we have to learn to take full responsibility for the parts that we play in our marriage. So if you're saying no, that means you're probably causing feelings of rejection and unworthiness, and you might be making them feel shame about their body. I don't know what's happening with your spouse when they hear a no from you, but just in counseling people, this is the stuff that I hear every day from people when they hear the no. They're like, "Oh my God, I feel so ugly." And they start internalizing, it must be me. Like, what's wrong with me? you know and then it's like so easy for them to get tempted by somebody else that's calling them hot at the gym, or sending them like flirty messages through Instagram or something. I mean, can you see like the progression of how this cheating and all that kind of stuff can happen, right? So protect your marriage, and again, don't let the enemy being like roaming around tempting you. Okay, so that's the second tip I have for you. And then the last tip, oh, by the way, I do see some new people on here. Hello. Welcome to my channel. And if you are not following, if you're on YouTube right now, because I do see quite a bit of YouTubers. What's up, YouTube? Please subscribe. I do come live here a couple times a week, just sharing tips like this. The chat, of course, is open. So if you have questions or want to say hi, you can do that in the chat, and I would be more than happy to say hello. And if you are looking for a sex coach because maybe you're experiencing some challenges at home, feel free to go to my website, scrolling right there, sexcoachheather.com. You can see all of the different options. I have a marriage program called Passion Renewed that helps to bring sex back into your marriage. I have a confidence program for the ladies if you're wanting to learn how to feel sexy in your own skin and learn how to spice it up in the bedroom and learn how to dance sexy and all that. You can see that program that's called Unleash Her. And then I also have some information in there on one-on-one couples counseling. And if you're looking for a speaker to come and talk at your marriage retreat, single retreat, maybe you're wanting to bring me into pre-marriage counseling with your couples that you have coming up for February or March. I do all of those things. So just check it out at sexcoachheather.com. There's all the options over there. All right. So my last tip for you guys today is to explore together. Okay. Now, it is so vital to just have fun. Like, you really want to learn how to have fun in your marriage and to not make it feel so pressury and intimidating and judgy and all of that. Like, you want to be able to, like I said, the first tip was to communicate, right? So a huge part of communicating is exploring. So maybe now you've told your husband, hey, like, I would love to do a new position. I would love to, go to a new place to have sex, I want to feel like, ooh, that thrill of maybe getting caught, so you can go have car sex. I don't know. I mean, don't tell your pastor I said this, but like so many couples want to go and have sex in their church parking lot. It's so funny. And same here. Like it's just one of those things that you're like, ooh. So if that's you and you want to explore it, like figure out a way and a time and all of that, all of these things that we have cravings for and desires and fantasies. I mean, they were put in us by God Himself. If you believe in Psalms 139 that talks about how God knit us together in our mother's womb, He's not just talking about our hair color and our skin color and all of that. That is also talking about our sexual desires, like what we desire and what we need in the bedroom to get us turned on, to bring us to a climax. Like there's all of that that was put into us, and every single one of us is an individual person, and so we're all unique. We're all going to have different things that turns us on. We're all going to have different things that we want to explore, and different, just different, and so give yourself permission to bring that voice, to your spouse. And you as a spouse need to make sure that you're not judging them for wanting to explore or sharing. Allow your marriage to be a safe place where you can share whatever you want without fear of judgment. And just knowing that God put those feelings inside of you, and your spouse should be the very person that could make you feel safe about sharing those, and also the very person that is open to experimenting with you. Okay. It's just like that verse in Song of Solomon, chapter 7, talks about, I belong to my beloved, and his desires are for me. So if your husband is having a desire that he wants to explore with you, it's because he loves you and he wants to be the one to explore and experiment these things that he craves with the woman that he loves. So make sure that you're not turning him down, that you're being open to explore, because again, this is one of the areas that we have to take responsibility for. That if we're not saying yes to our husband, another woman might be saying yes. So again, it's not that we are the cause behind the cheating, whether you're the husband or wife listening, but we do have more responsibility on us than we give ourselves credit for. Okay. We have to take responsibility for some of the things that could be the cause to start that separation that happens emotionally and physically and spiritually in our marriages, that could down the road, if we say no long enough, it could be one of the things that is pushing our husband into the arms of another woman, or pushing you as the wife into the arms of another man. I mean, these is just, it's facts. You can't deny it. It's uncomfortable to hear it, but it's true. It is true. Okay. So I hope that you have enjoyed today. We've talked about 3 faith-based marriage and intimacy tips. Feel free to share out this video to your faith-based community, whether that's the Jewish community, Christian community, whatever else is identified as faith-based. Feel free to share this into Facebook groups. I do believe I turned on the public thing, so you guys should be able to share it to any community that you would like. You'll also have a link that you can then share. This is on YouTube, by the way, so you can share the YouTube link to other people. Also, listen, this is really cool. That I love the way that God does this for me in my own faith-based business. There's been times when I've been approached by a pastor or a pastor's wife, and they said, "Hey, I saw your video on YouTube, and I just want to say, like, wow, you're so open and free talking about sex as a Christian woman. We would love to have you come and speak at our next marriage retreats. So I get hired a lot just from people watching my videos like this. And so if you feel like you don't see anybody talking freely about intimacy in your church, feel free to show these videos to your pastor, because if you're wanting change and you're wanting to bring some of this stuff, this more comfortable conversation about sex within your church or any type of faith-based community, I mean, how is your pastor or pastor's wife going to know that there's somebody like me out here that can help you and to help other people within the body of believers, right? So share the stuff out, encourage people to follow and subscribe my channel so that they don't miss out on future information and tips like this. And again, if you are looking for a sex coach that is open to praying with you and sharing Bible verses and helping you guys to communicate together more effectively as a Christian couple, go to my website, sexcoachheather.com, and you can see all the options. I have programs and courses and one-on-one counseling and all of it. So feel free to check that out. I would be more than happy to get you on my calendar and we can start our coaching journey together. So thank you so much for being here. I appreciate every single one of you. God bless you. I hope you have an amazing day, and I will talk to you soon.